requested me to record it. I think we're going now. Send a comment if you can see me. So I'm super excited. You know, it's been a while since I've been doing the consistent live Wednesday Facebook calls, and I'm super excited to get back in the groove of that. So now 2021 is here, the holidays are over, the election's over, so you know, let's get down to business. That's pretty much the way I look at it. The most important thing is right now is that like there's so much going on, but we have to control what it is we can control, and like the things that are beyond our control, man. You know, I know for myself, I had to be like, man, I got to stop watching the news 100%, whatever they're saying, just don't even watch it. And, you know, focus on your goals, crushing it this year, because, you know, who knows what's going to happen. But the thing is that like being a trader, we can actually like take control, you know, of our own income. We can take control of our lives, because like if we can be the ones in charge of making money, then, you know, they can't really control us too much from the outside, no matter what happens, right? Because we're still like autonomous. We're still, we become the masters of our own fate. So that's what I decided this year. I'm going to just buckle down, focus what I can control, and that's crushing it in the markets and helping you all to do the same thing. So super excited about this. You know, we've had a great trading day so far in the VIP group. I sent some charts out here. I've uploaded all my trades. I shared them earlier this week on YouTube. So hopefully you caught those. Like I've been looking at the pound a bunch since this Brexit deal got penned. And one of the things is, hopefully y'all took GBP USD, pound New Zealand, crushed it. I shared the chart in here as well. And if you didn't, it's okay. We got a lot more stuff to come. And I think we have a big turnaround for the dollar. So if you guys can hear me, I'm going to check the comments. If you can hear me all right, drop something in the comments. Cool. Awesome. I see it in there. But yeah, let's see here. Let me get back to my trading view chart. So first of all, a lot of things going on here for the dollar index. And there's two ways of looking at this. I'm going to move my moving averages off here. The moving averages I like to use when I'm scalping. So I have a different strategy for that I'll share with you all. I think I've shared it in here before. So it looks like we're in turnaround territory for the dollar index. So like for me to really make a decision about, you know, trading the dollar, getting long the dollar, and us having a turnaround, it really had to come down to the dollar index here, right? So without spending too much time on this, you know, we had this massive downtrend move that happened, you know, years ago, 2018, 2017, when this happened. I remember that was like, you know, I'm always learning how to trade, right? But this is when I was really getting into the markets and making a decision that like, yeah, I want to do this. So the dollar was super weak. And I really vividly remember this. You have 2017, things really kicking off, but we had this inverted head and shoulder pattern channel that we were trading in for quite some time here, and then breakdown following this, right? So you can clearly see this nice channel here, and we're in breakdown mode. So one of my favorite Fibonacci tools to use is the retracement, or the extension tool, rather I should say. And you know, from this is the massive move. This is the COVID move, right? So this is sell off. Dollar, you know, markets crashed this year in March 9th, and the dollar got super strong here, and this was this big push to the upside. So what I do is, and sorry, there's a lot of information on this one, but I haven't been on here too long, so I know that you all really want to just learn more than anything, which everything I teach is a lot about learning and stuff, obviously, but a lot of times y'all are like, man, where's the goods in the market? So from this low to the high here lays out, this is just a super important move. So if it's an important move, you know the extensions are going to be really significant, right? So here's the 127% extension, and right now we're at the 161.8. So we barely drop below here. Bit of a false breakdown. A lot of people thought we were going to go even lower down to 85, but we popped back up. Here we are here, right? I'm going to go to 4 hour. We're starting to stall, but this is pretty textbook breakout that we got going on, right? So false breakdown, if you can remember anything, and a part of this training is breakouts and breakdowns. But more importantly, false breakouts and false breakdowns, because pretty much one move after the other is a fake move by the banks. A fake move by the banks to create indecision and catch traders offside. So if you can hear me in the comments, let me know. Just type, yeah, I can hear you, or yes, or let's get it. I think you guys can. Just wanted to make sure. Cool. So there we are in the dollar index, right? So knowing that, I think the dollar is going to strengthen, and a big part of the majority of the dollar index is the euro, but second to it is the pound, right? So let's get down to business with the pound here. And I know you all noticed, probably a lot of people in the VIP group noticed I'm trading more of the pound because it's just been so volatile, right? So if you've been watching my stuff for a while, I talked about this zone being super, super significant here, right? Let's see. We're retesting the backside of it now. Got a nice green box there. And I called this, go back to the weekly outlook video. I talked about us having a false breakout here. And that's what the red flags. When you see a red flag on my charts, you know it means a false breakout, right? So we had this nice downtrend, and my rationale behind why I thought that was going to happen was, I mean, look how perfect this downtrend is, right? 1, 2, 3. So many traders got short right here. Got short, sold. They got a little bit of a pullback, a little bit of a bounce, and then boom, big move higher, right? So pretty textbook move in terms of false breakouts. Now, talking about extensions and Fibonacci's, from this last high, right, to this low, we're at the 127% extension. I'm going to tie this together. I'm going to show you GJ. I think GJ is going to be an awesome setup for the rest of the week. The pound too, if we get below 136, that's going to be super, super bearish. So it looks like we're getting a bit of a bounce here. So we'll see. But I called this that the 127% extension, we'd have a false breakout here. And this is where it's really going to get interesting. Okay. So if we can break down below this area and back inside, then that's going to be really, really bearish for the pound. And the thing is like, we have the inauguration coming up. There's a lot of troops in DC right now. Nobody really knows what the heck's going on. So I think that, and my assessment was, we're going to have a lot more risk off this week. Risk off meaning more people are scared to invest in more riskier type assets and going to look for an investment currency, which is the US dollar above anything. We have the yen, you have the Swiss franc, but when the stuff really hits the fan, then money's going to go into the dollar. And really, that's about the only thing that's pushing it along with interest rates so low. So without getting into too much fundamental stuff, plus we had the Brexit deal go through in the UK, And just from like, I like to think of the markets in a logical way, right? So like, if they just passed the Brexit deal, and that's what's been pushing the UK market along for pretty much for the past 2 years. That got passed. It was not the best deal, really. I mean, it wasn't really much of a deal at all. That went through. So now what do they have to push the markets around to strengthen the pound? Plus, on top of that, they just went into tier 4, tier 5, super extreme lockdown measures. So like, I don't see how this could be bullish for the pound at all, or why it would strengthen the bullish, just like from a logical point of view. So knowing that, and knowing that we're rallying, I have to ask myself, why is this even happening, right? And so I couldn't really think of a good answer. We've retested these levels here, right? So we had a big move here, and this was last night. Once I saw this rally here, I was like, man, I actually got in a little bit early, around 136.80, and originally got stopped out on my personal account, then re-entered this morning and caught this move to the downside. So so I've already made the assessment that the pound's going to get weak. I think it's all the puzzle pieces are here. I was looking at GJ, and I talked about this in my accelerator group yesterday. Let me remove some of these fibs here. Quite a bit going on. So, and I always like to look at the big picture. We're in a nice kind of uptrend here. I mean, you could look at this multiple different ways. It could be a wedge, it could be a channel, right? So surely you all see the channel. If we came back down to 137, which I don't think, I'm not ruling that out, then that would be huge. So we have multiple things going on here, and throwovers, what I like to call throwover, and what I learned it as, on multiple different ways, right? So this was the first throwover. What that means and what a throwover is, and it's essentially a false breakout. How to trade around a false breakout. That means we break out of a channel, like from the upside, typically not when the trend is going this way, like a trend line on the top and a downtrend, but when you're hugging a resistance line this way in an uptrend, right? So you guys can see that here, because we had a touch. This didn't quite make it, but this is really, really significant here. Touch, touch, and then we break out above. And remember, we have our fibs here. I'll take it off just to show you how I would do it live. So we break out above, right? So here's our breakout. See the retest. So many retail traders here are getting long. We're like, oh man, we're breaking higher. And it definitely looks like it. And it's still good. Not going to rule that out here. So this isn't the end all be all. Anything can happen in the markets. It's a random chain of events in a lot of ways. So you can see how we pushed higher and had this big move to the upside. And so when this happens, that's when I like to ask myself, well, where could this be going? Right? And so it hit this 161.8% extension perfectly. And this is where we are now. So, yesterday I thought this might be it because, like, check this out. This is a mini throwover, right? So you see this uptrend, break down, up, and you could have just traded this as a scalp, right? Break down, up. We broke down again, past it here, right? So you could even draw this. From here. if you wanted to. I think it looks more effective from there to here. So, but the thing is we had this false breakout move above 142. Okay, so like we're at 142 right there. That's a super, super significant number. 142 is a huge round number. So many people, I'm sure, were like, oh man, we're breaking out, we're getting long here. How many people do you think thought, oh, we're breaking out, retest, and started to buy right there? And what do you know? 142, we're already 60 pips below there, or 40 pips below, and then we break down. So, and that just happens to be below this 161.8% extension. And I'm going to get to GBP and ZD next, but remember, pound dollar, I was like, man, this looks like a false breakout. I think the dollar is going to gain some strength. The pound is looking weak right here. Where else can I see a high opportunity setup that fits my own analysis? Your analysis is going to be different than mine. You have to figure out what style works for you as a trader and then go with that. There isn't one right or wrong way to trade. The only right way, and I'm so convinced of this, the only right way to trade is the trading style that ends up with profits in your bank account. So it's easier said than done for sure, and it's a long way between, you know, being in profits, closing the trade, and then staying alive, staying in the game, and then especially long enough to make a withdrawal, right? So I think we might bounce here, but I've established, and especially here is the big daddy of throwover lines. Thanks, John. Appreciate it, man. Just making sure y'all can hear me. This is the big daddy of throwover lines. How many traders do you think are getting long right here? Probably quite a few. And, you know, we can't rule out that this doesn't just take off and go into beast mode, because that can totally happen. But with the inauguration coming up, troops in Washington, a lot of indecision in the world, you know, anything could happen, but it doesn't seem like it's a stable environment for trading, finances, COVID, all that BS. So if we break down back inside of here, and I think we might, I think there's a really good chance that we might, maybe something like this to here. And that's going to be just a super signal of a move to the downside. And we have some nice IT levels down here below. And so that's what I'll be targeting. But long term, we have still the fact that we're inside here, right? So there's a lot of different downside targets. 139 is what I'm really looking at. Zoom in here at this massive imbalance. So I'm using price action. I'm using institutional style of, you know, finding markets, IT candles, improper price action. And then I'm also using fundamental analysis to draw these conclusions about where I think the market's going to go, and what I think is going to happen to the pound, for instance, right? So today, that was my analysis for the pound. And so the last thing I did this morning was like, man, I think the pound is about to just tank. Where else can I take advantage of this opportunity? So like, if you find, ooh, this is looking good, right? So we hit our 100 pip target. We're bouncing back right here. So I'm going to be looking potentially for some sort of re-entry here, right? So, I mean, it looks like we're retesting the back side of this trend line. Let me move that out of the way. Which could make for a good shorting opportunity, right? So selling rallies in this, but I'm not going to jump into it too quick. But I would love to see a pullback somewhere around here, which would create another shorting opportunities. But in the meantime, this looks pretty bearish. So if we go out to the 4-hour chart, we can't deny the fact that we've been in this downtrend for a long time. I think it's time, we will turn around. I think we could be in the middle of it, but not before we get one more flush to the downside. And just look at how freaking bearish this right here is. A bearish engulfing candle if I've ever seen one. That is the definition of one. So that's a big sign that we're going to get some serious downside before we really start to kind of recalibrate. This looks like a great IT candle and imbalance here, right? So once you've been doing this for a while, things will start to pop out for you in the charts and in the market. So I hope you found this video helpful. To sum it up, find one opportune setup using your own analysis, and then think logically, and then ask yourself across the board, where else could there be an awesome opportunity? Like, not every single pound pair is going to be a huge opportunity, although this would have been good too. I was looking at GA earlier, and it's a little more confusing. Looks kind of like we have a false breakout here, but for me, it wasn't as clear as GJ, GU, and GN, but this is looking like it's offering some good setups for us later on down the road. But the thing is you don't have to get into every single trade. You just need to find what's going to be the high opportunity setup for you. So I hope you found this video helpful. Let's crush it this year, 2021, January. We got the inauguration. There's going to be a lot of positive volatility in the markets. We just got to play it right. So if you have any questions, shoot me a message. If you'd like to be in my group, we would love to have you, where I teach all these strategies that I just went over in super more in-depth and easy to understand videos. And that also includes the GN trade, the GU trade, the GJ trade. All these I shared in my VIP group. So hope you have an awesome group. Thanks for hopping on, everybody. John, appreciate how you're all about, super active in the group. It's great to see all the activity, and let's just get back in the saddle. Resident, thanks for getting on the call too. I see you like the call. Edgar, appreciate you. And let's have an awesome week, everybody. Thanks for hopping on. Peace.